Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome, everybody. You're now tuned in to the Superconscious Outlet, where tonight we will be speaking on the topic of collective consciousness. First of all, people, excuse my voice tonight. My 9-year-old had a softball game, and I was screaming at the top of my lungs, of course. So I'm going to try to do the best that I can. Bear with me. Also, my co-host will not be here tonight. She's away enjoying herself as she should be. She had an event already planned prior to this arrangement. So I will be having callers tonight, and I will have a guest co-host by the name of Cheryl Faison, Beloved Wine. And we're really going to go in tonight, people, just on the topic of collective consciousness. But before I get started, allow me to do this, and which is, I want to just give a shout-out to my sponsors. People, check us out at Universal Radio at facebook.com/Universal Radio 2. Also, be sure to pick up the new book, amazing book, I have a copy myself, by Amin-Ra Darby. He also authors children's book. His latest children's book is Swazi Baka. And his new release is Cultivated Mentality, which can be purchased at AminRaDarby.com, which is AmenRaDarby.com. You can also purchase this at Amazon.com, and it's available on ebook. So, and also, please check this out, Blacks Be Like, and that's facebook.com/Blacks Be Like 1. That's just how it sounds. BLACKBELIKE 1. So go ahead and check that out. Also, I give a shout out to my main man, Devon Allen, Reshape the People's Workout Meal Plan. You can contact this brother at 310-438-0154, or you can email him at dthing, which is the letter D, NGS 1236 at AOL.com. So go ahead and check him out. This brother's really doing some great things with just, motivating our people. And also, on Sundays, check out my amazing woman. I must say that. But her name is Zemriah Davis, but I call her Queen Z. So check her out on Sundays, and that's going to be at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, okay? And through the week, we got Jay Allen's show, which that's on Mondays, hosted by Jay Allen. And on Wednesdays, we have You Must Learn, and that's hosted by the brother Lamar and Martin. So go ahead and check them out again at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, okay? And then Thursdays, we have the Any and Everything show. So go ahead and check this out. But so let's get it started right now, people. Let's go to the very basic beginnings. And what is collective consciousness? Okay. And before I go too far, I have a guest co-host tonight by the name of Cheryl Faison, Beloved Wine. And this is going to be an amazing show, people. Really, bear with me. My voice is shot. I'm trying to do my best to project as well as I can. So bear with me. But exactly what is collective consciousness, okay? So in sociology, I believe it says that, collective consciousness is a term used in the study of human society, first to the knowledge and beliefs shared by all members of a particular group. What that group encompasses, a few individuals, a nation, or the planetary population as a whole. Collective consciousness allows members of a group to share common goals, behaviors, attitudes, also encourages individuals with differing views to conform to the beliefs of the overall group. In short, it makes human society possible. Okay? Now that's my take, and that's how it's defined, and that is the purpose of this show tonight, collective consciousness. But right now, let me introduce my guest co-host, Miss Cheryl Beloved Wine. Cheryl, are you there?
Hello, I am here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. Well, hi, everyone. Much divine love to all of you. And I'm happy to be a part of this. A bit of a surprise, but I couldn't say no. I'm quite a persuasive bunch here at Universal Radio. And so, anyway, just wanted to say it's great to be here.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you so much. Thank you for I know it was short notice, but thank you for filling in with me tonight. And we're going to have some callers tonight, I'm sure. But we're going to have a special caller by the name of, that she goes by, Jamila X. This sister is going to give it to you raw and in pure form. And we're just, we're going to just go in depth, do the best that we can. And, just get it done. Let's just talk about, the things. And I want to hear your views as well on what collective consciousness means to you. So, as a matter of fact, can you just go ahead and touch on that for a minute? What does collective consciousness mean to you, Cheryl?
Well, collective consciousness is the energy that each of us adds to the universal consciousness, or the cosmos, in my opinion. Each one of us is a carrier of the essence of the dominion of creation. When you consider the impact that you have into the world in that fashion, this experience that you have, you are co-creator, creator and co-creator of it. And so, because I have a different truth or understanding about it, I'm highly concerned about how I, as an individual, think, act, behave, believe, and desire. Because I know that whatever is in my soul, whatever is in my heart, whatever is in my thoughts, is going to manifest someplace. So if I focus on divine love, absolute love, I can channel that out into an entire community, into my community here. And perhaps just that little channel of my love, of my good thoughts, of my personal responsibility, because it ties back to the universal spiritual law of responsibility, then perhaps maybe that thought of love that I emanated that day stopped a crime, stopped, a natural disaster. Maybe just that little bit added to, the big pot of everyone else's divine consciousness that is holding a good thought or holds humanity in a high standard of integrity. Perhaps that sometimes offsets some of the negative experiences that we might otherwise have on the planet. So for me, it's tremendous energy, and it's a tremendous essence, and it is very important that as an individual, that my individual conscience is of the most noble and high standards and characteristics. Because I know that though I may be one person and I may be obscure to, many people on the planet, that in the cosmos, I have a huge and tremendous impact on the experiences that I have, that my children will have, the future generations of the world shall have, and I try to make every moment in my mind as a miracle. Each breath I see life as a miracle, and I see myself as part of the process that brings forth life into another being, into the atmosphere. So perhaps that's a bit deep, explanation, but hopefully we'll have an opportunity and I will be able to give some science behind of the individual consciousness as it impacts the collective consciousness later in the show.
Okay.
But thank you for asking.
Yes, let's bring our first guest caller in, and this sister goes by the name of Jamila X. I mean, she is highly respected by myself. I feel like she has a way of putting things in just a simple form of what we need to do as a people overall. But more importantly, I mean, just as people, of being, connected, ancestral memory, and through DNA as black people. And, I will go into that. I mean, I did an interview this week with Sister Michelle Renee. And, people are using information that really pertains to us. They're making millions of dollars off of this. And what we're doing is giving it to you from our hearts, from our spirits, from who we are. We're not looking to profit. We're looking to wake people up. This is the whole thing about collective consciousness, is that when you truly go in depth and study and understand this is a powerful topic, people. So just bear with us. Right now, I want to go ahead and bring in Jamila X. And Jamila X, are you there?
Yes, I am. Thank you.
How are you? How are you, sister? How you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. Very good.
Good. Glad to hear it.
And I do appreciate you asking me to come on. And I'm a little bit nervous, but I have something to say, especially on Facebook. So you giving me this opportunity to continue with my insight on collective consciousness.
Okay, but before we go into that, just allow me, sister, to remind you that we are one and the same. We are connected, whether it's unconsciously or consciously. We are connected through the web of life, which supersedes the internet, the web, the World Wide Web. We are connected. So when I feel that you speak for me, I speak for you, we speak as one, because there's only one consciousness. But before you go into that in depth, just go ahead and give us your ideology on what collective consciousness is and how can we use this to further progress as a people.
Well, thank you for that. And yes, we speak on collective consciousness. And also, along with that collective consciousness, we have a responsibility, a collective responsibility to one another. And I'm not a Bible enthusiast. However, it is said in Ezekiel chapter 3, verse 18, when I say unto the wicked, thou shalt surely die, and thou givest him not warning, nor speakest to warn the wicked from his wicked ways, to save his life, that same wicked man shall die in his own iniquity, but his blood will I require at thine hand. And what it is saying, when one who sits idly by, knowing of an impending danger, and watch in silence as their brother falls to his demise, surely his death is required. Punishment is inevitable for those blacks who sit high and look down on your brother or sister while appeasing the devil. There are black devils as well as white devils. And my email address is jamila1x@gmail.com. And the reason I chose 1X is because I am required to give forewarning. And after that, I waste no more time on you who does not heed to the warning. So, and what it's saying, we have a collective responsibility. If we have collective consciousness, we do have a collective responsibility to one another. We are our brother's keepers. Just imagine our lives adhering to this truth and remembering our predecessors who have had a hand in making sure that we stay alive thus far. That is the reason why we owe our lives to them and to the ones who overcame great obstacles and stared down death doors to give to us and to lead to us with a message of how great we are and how we can overcome these atrocities to us. It's our great leaders such as Marcus Messiah, Gary McGrath, Marcus Messiah Garvey, Malcolm X, Huey P. Newton, Lumia Jamal, Harriet Tubman, Angela Davis, and so more, all whom are all revolutionaries. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. These are the ones that were agitated and outraged with the treatment of the people, of our people. These are revolutionaries who fought to gain back our birthright as kings and queens of the earth. It's our legacy. It's the legacy that I embrace and remember when I speak on this or in any form. Butterflies in my stomach. I'm nervous at all get out. However,
relax. You're doing an excellent job, and again, we appreciate you because here's the thing. You know what I mean? Just keep your train of thought. Here's the thing. As a people, we have been, misguided, completely indoctrinated with a lot of falsehood in our primary learning at an early age. We didn't even have a choice. We were just, like I said, just early indoctrinated with a lot of, as we grow older, we see it as nonsense. But then again, as we, keep that connection, we have to realize that everything that's written has a purpose. But what happens is how we interpret it. You know what I mean? So just relax, continue, because you're doing an excellent job. And again, I appreciate you beyond words. So just go ahead, take your time, and finish with your message because it's a powerful message. And this is the purpose of this show, to give our people an opportunity to speak on the benefit, and the connectivity of collective consciousness. This is what this is all about. So you're doing an excellent job. Relax, just like we're having a conversation. This is it. There's no need to be nervous. There is no wrong or right. You know what I mean? Just relax, and you're doing an excellent job, and I appreciate you.
Well, thank you.
Excuse me, is my mic open?
Yes.
Yes. Sister.
Yes.
Jamila. Yes, this is Cheryl. I have wanted to say hi to you and much divine love to you. And just want to take just a quick moment. We're going to take a couple of 3 breaths. And what we're going to do is you're going to transfer that nervous energy into me, into my body. Just close your eyes and just take like 3 quick breaths in through your nose and then out. And we're just going to transmute it because this is your truth. This is your wisdom. All is correct. All is honest. It is from your heart. It is pure divine love. You're doing that which you're being guided to do, how you're being led according to the will of the ancestors and the Creator. It speak, sister, speak. That's all you have to do. Create that which you speak. So right now you are creating a big abundance of wisdom and truth. So there you go.
I appreciate that. Thank you. So I'll go with that.
There she goes. So now she's off. Here we go.
All right. So it's the legacy that I embrace, and I remember when I speak on this forum or any other forum, I know I stand on the truth because I represent the ones who cannot speak for themselves, which makes me determined to speak for my peace, their peace, our peace. For I know our lives depend on it. Our lives are dependent upon you, us, representing us, and teaching, sharing what you know. I already know I don't know it all. I do not have all the answers. However, I do know or know how to find ones that do. We have wonderful, loving, educated warrior sisters such as there's Autumn Anderson, there's a Sahara Wisdom, Diana Richardson, there's a Nadia Mayam, and brothers like Mikhail Shabazz, Malik Haru El Shabazz, Alexander Dawood, Willie Jefferson, and many more that have they're on Facebook and they love to share the wisdom, and it shows. And I grasp and appreciate their spirit, which is given, in the way they give it out. We all have great visions that need to be told. We owe our lives. We are obligated. What they say, so we are obligated. So, what they say, down by law, we are civilized people. We know right from wrong, and that's a proven fact. Before any kind of religion had prevailed, we knew our roles in life and fulfilled them. We were all responsible for one another to make sure that the sun continued to shine, the moon continued to reflect the sun, the earth rotates on its axis around the sun, and the stars of the sun show us the way, planets in place. There's nothing new under the sun. As it is in the heavens, so it is on earth. The stars in our life, our babies, should be our main concern.
Exactly. Sister Jamila, you know what? Again, I just want to let you know how much I appreciate you. I need to make an announcement right now, though. People, when you call in to the show, understand this is kind of a new format for us, and we're doing the best that we can. So it's just like when you call in any other radio show, bear with us, because if you call us, we will get to you as soon as we can. But be patient, because this is a message that for those of you who are calling in. I know we just had a caller hang up, but understand the importance of what we're doing here. We're not looking for fame. We're not looking for popularity. We're looking to reach our people. We are actually connected to the spirit, to the soul that have gotten us this far, and we are trying to take it one step further. And the Sister Jamila X, Cheryl, Faison, Beloved Wine, and many others that I'm connected with, this is important. I mean, I'm doing this from my heart and from my soul. I have nothing to gain from this financially. So, bear with us. We're trying to really reach our people to just enlighten you to who you truly are, to who we truly are as a people. And we must become united, because if we continue to be divided with religion and all these different things that we've been indoctrinated with, I mean, it's easy for you to see that none of this stuff has worked. I don't care if you claim to be Christian, a Muslim, a Moor, or whatever. We know that doesn't work. I mean, it's been proven, because, these people, the whole topic, collective consciousness, has been around since the 60s that I know of, maybe even further than that. But, since I've been born, and I'll be 50 this year. So bear with us and understand, have patience. If you call in, give us a minute to get to you, and we'll get to you. But go ahead, Jamila. Go ahead and finish up. And, sister, I appreciate you. I appreciate you having the courage to call in and to speak your mind. And, I don't even know how to thank you with words. I promise you. I really don't. I just appreciate you beyond understanding.
I'm ready to let go now if someone wants to come on and speak, add on to anything here. Okay,
well, listen, we appreciate you for calling in. Again, I can't thank you enough. I will be in contact with you. I really value your opinion. I value your thoughts. And I know for a fact, that, your message is heard. And this is the whole thing. And also, we must just be mindful that, everyone is not going to come into this. Again, I've said this 100 times, and I'll say it again 101 times. There is no way that everyone is going to come into this. Our purpose is to reach those who come willingly. We do nothing by force, and those who want to seek to do better. So, Sister Jamila, just let me tell you from the sincerity in my heart, I thank you so much, and I appreciate you beyond understanding. Thank you, sister.
You're so welcome, and I'll be on. I'm listening. Not going
Thank
anywhere.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate you.
I have a quick question before she hangs up. Is that okay?
Okay. Don't hang up, Jamila. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yes. Yes. I was just wondering, I know you stated earlier that you were a messenger and you were giving a message. And as I'm sitting here, I did have a bit of an experience, a visitation from Ascendant Master Malcolm X, the Honorable Malcolm X. And I remember him just saying, I'm going to give her the words. And it seems as though he may have been giving you words for a while and you weren't aware of it. So I was just wondering, when did you discover that you were this messenger, this person to go around and awaken the sleeping giant that is within, this collective consciousness here on the planet now? How did that come about for you, and how did you respond to it initially?
Well, it comes through experience. I'm called well seasoned. I'm 61 years old at this time, and what I've seen, yes, thank you. And what I've seen in life, I see that the devil is still striving, and I know that there is a way, and Marcus Messiah Garvey had the blueprint, and it was destroyed because of black devils coming in the midst. And this is what I saw, and this is what I know I needed to speak on, and so that we can get it right for the next time.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful, and that's a wonderful thing. There's so many of us out here that have a truth, that have wisdom, and we're fearful to say it, and, I know what you were saying earlier, a lot of people don't like necessarily to reference scripture, but, because there's so many different ones, but one thing I can tell you is truth is perfect love casts out fear, and I hope everyone embraces that that you're walking in perfect love because you're standing on the truth and you're espousing it, regardless of how many people hear it or receive it. If there's only one that receives it, you never know. That might be just the one. You may be the torch carrier, but you may pass it on, and that may be the trailblazer, that runs it to the mountaintop and shouts it from there. So every little bit that we do, this is, again, how collective consciousness works. If you look at it, it takes just one individual, heeding to what is being felt in their heart and speaking it, going about it, and then you pass it on. And we do that, not only genetically, but we do it, spiritually, and we do it with our daily walk in life. And everyone and everything we come in contact to, we embed a piece of our soul essence into it. So don't feel disheartened. Don't think that your work is in vain. There's always going to be someone out there that's going to pick up the torch and continue to carry it for you. Many days after we speak about this moment, when it becomes, a vague memory in time, there will always be one that will be able to go back to this medium and hear the words that you've spoken tonight. So I think it's a beautiful thing that you decided to go with it. We need so many more to do that. We do have to, Roderick was always talking about, get from our religion and whatnot. People have to understand religion is a starting point to remind us who we are. There's value in all the different scriptures if you look at it properly. The problem is that we get into our minds and we want to use it to rule over and control each other, and it wasn't meant for that purpose. And then, we get to these people who we would say are, devil-minded. But these are really people who have a lot of hurt within and their, insecurities, and they use these topics, religion and politics and money to try to stifle all of us. So, when you stand up against that paradigm, you take a risk. And so people have to understand this comes from a place of love that, it really transcends any human consciousness that we can possibly have, to step out on a limb and to do what you've been doing. And it sounds like you've been doing it quite a while. So I definitely want to give you some honor and some praise for it tonight, if no one else does, and let you know how much we truly appreciate you, taking the opportunity, because every breath that you've used to speak to us, every moment that you've taken from your precious lives to give to us has been a gift. You didn't have to do it. You didn't have to call. And you could have said, I have other obligations. There are other people, because you don't know who's listening, how many will hear it. But to step out on that type of faith, I thank you so much. And we truly love you. And I look forward to, you coming back again and listening to you. I'm just kind of sitting in tonight for Koshana, who's having a blast from what I understand. She's having a wonderful time out with, a lot of, people that are channeling a lot of love.
Thank you.
So thank you again, and we appreciate you.
Yes, thank you, sister. I appreciate you.
Yeah,
Thank you again so much, Jamila. I mean, we really appreciate you. Again, I mean, it's just like a broken record. I cannot just appreciate you enough, But, if you're listening and you'll continue to listen, if you feel like it, give us a call back. But right now, people, I just want to let you know that the seriousness of why I am doing this, I mean, there were people that I drew into my experience just mentally that gave me the opportunity to be able to have this show. And I really appreciate them, and the respect I have for them is astounding. I mean, these are amazing people, and it lets me know, it's confirmation that this is real, okay? So, again, Sister Jamila, we thank you, and if you get a chance, call back in and talk to us.
Oh, it's me. Oh.
Did you hear me?
Okay, you hear me? Now you hear me?
Yeah, I do. I hear you. Yes.
Oh, okay, great. I thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you, sister, so much. We appreciate you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, people. So, as of right now, I see we don't have any callers. I mean, people, just let me say this. If you continue to do the same thing that you've been taught, and that we continuously do the same thing, then that's exactly what we're going to get, the same result. So, I mean, if you're not really about change, then, I mean, that's on you. I mean, like I said, we do nothing by force. We understand the powers of our minds, which we have never been taught. I wanted to just touch on the topic. I was in an interview today with Sister, that I call her Mother Goddess, excuse me, Shayla Renee. And, it's funny how people will listen when they see a Caucasian, a white person, a European speak on a topic. Us as a people would just readily buy into it. You know what I mean? We have brothers such as Alan Rod Darby, Keedy Oahu, and countless others that are writing books, and we just won't pick that up. But yet and still, we have a Bible in every household. You have your Quran, you have your Moors, you have your Hebrew Israelites. That's religion, okay? Let's talk about going back to who we truly were and the freedom that we came here with. I'm not downplaying the Bible. I'm not downplaying any so-called holy book. But simply, to be honest with you, there's nothing holy about a book. It's about people putting the information on paper. I was also told by a dear friend of mine that paper will lay down and allow anybody to write on it, okay? So if you have something to be heard or you wish to be heard, call us right now. This is your opportunity to speak. This is not my platform per se. What I do is for all of us, and I want you to know that. It's funny to me because, you know what, as I study and research, I realize that even animals have a much stronger connection to the collective consciousness than humans. I mean, this is plain and simple. I mean, this explains how they instinctively can do things that they consciously have never learned. In many cases, I mean, they also lack the brain capacity to be able to understand exactly what they're doing. But it's funny, like a colony of ants, for example, okay? They can build a fantastic underground fortress complete with ventilation systems because they can draw from all the experience that all ants have ever had before. It's that simple. They know exactly what they should do, what to build, and you know what the end result is a beautiful fortress. I mean, people, let's just wake up, get real, and realize it's okay. You know what I mean? It's something that you believed in, that you've studied further beyond what you currently know. It's okay to know that, you know what? It's not really the truth. There's much more. And until we get to that place, then nothing about us as a people will change. I have friends of all different races, religions, creeds, all of that. One thing we all have in common, especially black people, we're all black. And people say, well, I'm a Moor, I'm a Christian, I'm a Muslim, I'm a Catholic, I'm this, I'm that. But when I see you and the world sees you as a black person, the first thing they see is a black person. I had a brother today, we kind of touched on the topic about, we're not black. Black is evil or black is death. Truth be told, when you get into this thing about, I'm African, so you have whites in Africa that are born there, so are they African? What separates us from everybody else on this planet, whether you accept it or not, is the fact that we are melanated people, okay? And just so you know, there are some Caucasians that are also melanated, okay? So when we start to go beyond the scope of skin tone and religion, and we begin to see who we truly are, and the purpose of us being here is to constantly evolve. This is the reason why we're doing this show tonight. This is the reason why we're doing collective consciousness. And people, listen, like I said, if you want to call in, call in. If not, if you're listening, I hope you are. But I'm going to continue to do what I do by any means necessary, you know what I mean, in the most honorable words of the brother Malcolm X. But listen, we have a caller right now. With the last four of 1004. Caller, you're on the air with Super Conscious Outlet. Go ahead and speak.
Hello, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. I'd like to say greetings to everyone that's on the line that's listening. I did want to just add, I'm just an empty vessel right now, and I've been listening in for a couple of weeks now on the different topics, and I'm so overwhelmed with the information that's being given and what's being talked about because, over the years you feel isolated and you know that it's something bigger. You know that there's something more to understand, more even about yourself, And then there's some people that ignore the fact that they're in this matrix. They're in this misunderstanding of a concept that we are not together. We are not united at all whatsoever. And then you find this group of people that speak the same language that you're thinking of, and you think that you're by yourself. So when the concept of being conscious came across my Facebook, I was overwhelmed. Everybody talk about comedics and all of this spirituality and their religion and what have you, but then nobody's talking about, they want to post all of this, stuff about some things that they're not even involved in. But then you come across something like this, it's really encouraging. And like I said, I'm so overwhelmed to hear some of the stuff that some of the people that's really serious, the issues that we have, And then
right.
And another point I wanted to address was we are so missing our elders. And for the past 2 weekends, I've heard 2 elders come on here to shed some light on some things that are real, so are true, and they're not afraid. The young lady that was nervous, you have some wide open ears. If she's still listening, you have some wide open ears and a wide open vessel that's really, really to take in what it is that you're saying and what it is, and we're grateful for the ones that reach out. I tell my children, I will talk until I'm blue in the face because y'all nation is messed up. My children, I know that I instilled in them, and they're still not listening. It seems like something bigger got a hold of them, and, as a parent, I'm afraid for them. and I'm just being opened up to be a vessel to listen to you guys. I just wanted to share that because this, being conscious is being just aware of, just some of the stuff that we came from and that no longer exists. Exactly. No backup system. No, nothing. No, nobody's listening. We don't have sponges anymore. We have a whole bunch of rocks. They're not listening. They're not paying attention. And you to fight for something in your own household is where it starts. So I just wanted to share that with you. I didn't want to go too far, and say too much, but I did want to share that. As old as I am, I'm 40 years old, and I feel like I'm renewed to hear all this information about some, you guys supporting this. And you said you're not looking for any type of pay or anything like that. For the ones that want to donate to something like this, that's a wonderful thing. But for you to come on here and freelance it, and just give this is confirmation. And one of these days, as crazy as it may seem, I still have hope that we're going to come together collectively. I have hope. That's all I got.
We are. So what's your name again? I'm sorry. Give me your full name again. Slowly.
My name is Carlotta.
Carlotta. Sister Carlotta, let me express myself to you. We appreciate you. I mean, the whole thing. I've been on Facebook for 4 years. The other day, I posted a video prior to me having a Facebook, and what I do is I try to lead by example. I don't tell anyone anything that I'm not willing to do, that I'm not willing to go through myself or I have not been through. And Carlotta, I appreciate you for acknowledging us. I appreciate you for being you. And the thing is that, we have to continuously put this out there and, just be mindful that everyone is not going to get it. And this is why, if you look at the number of people in the world, you look at these books that they've taken and they've changed things just for financial gain, for worldly greed, there's a portion of us that truly get it, truly believe it in our spirit. And when we get it, the first thing we want to do is we want to share it. So the whole idea of this topic tonight of collective consciousness, it's obvious that we are reaching people. I mean, I don't care if it's one person throughout the whole 2-hour show. You know what I mean? We are reaching people with an understanding from a higher source. I like to call it divine intelligence. Some people call it God, Braham, Allah, Yahweh, Yahshua, all these different titles. But when we just let that go and realize who we are, I mean, we are divine beings. And so, Sister Carlotta, I mean, I don't even know how, again, I mean, I'm so humbled by, you calling in and just speaking to us, and I appreciate you. I do believe you're a friend of mine on Facebook, which I truly value you. You know what I mean? Again, I mean, I appreciate you. Thank you for calling in. Anytime you want to contact me, or anytime this show is on the air, which is Saturday, feel free, to call in and share, because this is what it's about. We need to get this out there. We are all one. We are all one. We are all fragments of a broken body. And the reason why we can't get to that place is because we have all these different ideologies. We have all this egotism that is hampering us from really ascending to who we truly are. And that is when you conduct yourself in a certain way, when you reach this certain plateau, you begin to think divinely and you begin to express that. And when you express that, you know that you are God. I mean, first of all, people, let me just reiterate this. Without the black woman, I'm nothing. I'm nothing. So those of you that can accept it, then don't, okay? But I know who I am, and I know the importance of the black woman. I mean, let me just ask you guys a question. It's kind of off topic right now. Just think about all the babies, all the spirits, all the physical beings that we've lost to abortion, okay? I mean, think about that, because I'm a man that's actually driven women you know what I mean, to the clinic to abort these babies, which was not in my right mind. Okay, I'm man enough to say I haven't always been in my right mind. But when I found out that I must constantly seek and come to a higher understanding of who we truly are, you know, I want to rectify some of my wrongs. Okay, so Carlotta, sister, I thank you. And if there's anything else you have to say, go ahead. You are more than welcome to finish. But I think I speak for us as a whole. We appreciate you.
Well, I appreciate it too. You know, I don't want to make this just a individual blast on, just myself for trying to find a whole bunch of pretty words, but this is for real. This is my passion. This is my truth. This is what's going on with myself and the understanding of years of build-up and understanding of that I can't listen to my grandparents' elderly advice anymore. I can't listen to the elders that are afraid of our young people, to have them listen to us anymore, or just speak. So, the guy that was on last week, and he was giving, a bunch of advice, and he was so humble, and he was grateful. And then the young lady that was just on, I respect anybody. We are not taught to respect our elders anymore as young people, but I appreciate them, and I was longing for that. I longed for that because it's only been, a couple of years since my grandparents be gone, and I can't laugh with them anymore, and, the grieving process of that, but that's just personal. But just in general, to have guidance, to be led, and to listen to some real, true, wholesome, lessons, there's some nuggets that we can take with us to raise our children. That's why I think things are in upheaval, that we don't know ourselves. We really don't. We don't know who we are. And I'm just saying that for, as an individual myself, I don't want to speak to nobody else. I talk to my children, but, I'm going to get off of here and let other people speak. But that's generally this is just 2 weeks, and I just wanted to reiterate that this is a good thing. This is a blessed thing. This is a thing that somebody learned it from. If it's not my story, it is going to be somebody else. I've been listening to individuals come on here, and they've been speaking some real true stuff that they don't know touched somebody else that I've learned from, and actually put forth some type of, during the week, put forth some type of effort to think about it for a second and third time. Like, dang, this is what goes on when I'm not looking. Maybe I should pay more attention to some of the people around me and help them so they can help me. We so full of it nowadays. We think we're the only ones going through stuff. We need to look up and see that there's somebody walking past us, But I just wanted to say that, and I am grateful for all of you guys, because somebody is listening. Somebody taking you seriously. And I'm going to get off here. And I appreciate it. Thanks.
Hey, thank you so much, Carlotta. I mean, we appreciate you. I mean, we are one and the same. When I see you, I see a reflection of me. And again, I can't appreciate you enough. And thank you for calling in. We really appreciate you, Carlotta. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, well, until we get our next caller, Cheryl Faison, Beloved Wine.
You're going to chop it up with the help, huh?
You know what? People always tell me, I get a lot of flack, you know what I mean, as a male that knows who he truly is. And I don't use the word love loosely, So I get a lot of flack from people, I mean, via inbox, personal messages, phone calls. I'm one of the few people that I know that have put my number on Facebook for everybody. I have actually went as far as to tell people, you know what, if you have a problem with me, if you want to discuss something with me, I will come and meet you personally. I mean, again, this is not something for fame or popularity. This is something that is truly heaven sent. I mean, and when we understand that word heaven, it's purely a state of mind, people. It's a state of mind. The physicalness of heaven I won't go into that because that's only found in a black woman. Okay, it's what everybody has been seeking since we've been here. Understand that the black woman is God. So without going, way off topic into that, I want you people to understand that, we're doing this simply because of the love that's in us. And some people say, well, you know what? You're kind of harsh sometimes, Rod. You speak on some topics, you use certain language. Understand, people, you're not me in that aspect where I love all my people. I have people that I love that are not on Facebook. So yeah, I will use words occasionally that may not be comforting to you, but I'm trying to reach people that are really functioning in a lower existence of self. So when you get to know self and you get to understand who you truly are, this is the purpose of this show. You know what I mean? Sure, you have anything you want to add to that while we're just, talking about what we can do in the whole realm of collective consciousness?
Well, I've always got something to say. So you've been about the only person who's been able to put a plug in it and stop me from having anything to say. You get last word. Something I want to talk about, I want to tie it back in because it may seem like it's going off a bit, but one, fear. This is the number one issue that is in the collective consciousness of all humanity. It was embedded into the soul group of human spirits, not by other humans, but other beings that carry a human essence or can make themselves seem to be such. Okay? Fear is the number one reason no group of individual people, or, like when you start looking at different religious groups and segments, none of them can overcome it. And let me tell you, we have a collective soul injury in humanity. It transcends, race, religion, all of this stuff. It's a collective soul injury called fear. And what we need to do is to move past it. The way to heal the collective consciousness starts with the individual consciousness. How do you do that? Through losing judgments, primarily against self. When you understand and overstand and understand that you are an emanation of the universal consciousness many people call God, or is referred to as God or the Creator or the Divine, however you choose to address, there's only one source from which we all emanate from. When you understand the fact, when your soul comes into the revelation and reconciliation that you are an expression, an emanation, an expression, experiencing God as God, in God, for God, by God, because of God, then you can heal your soul and you lose all judgment. You see, fear is why when you want to get down to the essence of why black people or African American people aren't connecting to ancestors. The ancestors are speaking to us, but we're too fear-based because we've been taught that there's demons and that there's devils and all of these other entities that are invading our space. They're not entities. They're other beings that have existed since beginning with us, among us. They come here and they weren't supposed to be here. They're trespassing. They're the ones who trespass. As I said last week on the show, humanity didn't fall. We aren't the fallen beings. We've been deceived into that. And so collectively, we have to understand that we are in fear and we need to get over it. We need to take back dominion of being human. We need to take back dominion over our soul and over our essence of self. And you do that by loving yourself ultimately over and above everything. Why would you do that? Because when you do that, you are God. You're a loving God, and you're loving God first. And then, some of the scriptures say, the kingdom of heaven is within. It's within your body. It's within your DNA. There is a scientific and quantum physics principle to that, which is your individual consciousness and your collective consciousness. And so the number one way to do that is to love yourself first, even before your spouse or your children or your parents. Because whenever you build that self-love, you're building that love toward the infinite divine, and then you're able to express it out infinitely to everyone and everything else in the world. So that's a primary thing that we have, So that would be, my opinion, my observation on it.
You know what, Cheryl? I mean, again, you are one of those that I cannot express my deep love and concern for, and I truly appreciate you for even doing this tonight, taking your time. So right now, let's just kick back and go into break, and we'll be back with you people in about maybe 3 to 4 minutes. So let's do that. Hey, welcome back, people. You're now tuned in. You have been tuned in, or either you just tuned in to Collective Consciousness, and we appreciate all our listeners. I cannot express how much I love my people, the extent that I'm willing to go through to reach my people. To understand me is to get to know me. First of all, as you all know, my name is Roderick Gerald, and I go by a handle also called Roddy Rex. And when I use that title, people, understand that what that means has nothing to do with sexuality. It might, but that's just me. No, in all seriousness, it is about being at attention, okay? So when we understand that, when we pay attention and we really focus on what's going on and we realize how we've come to be at this point of existence, what we have to keep in mind is that unconsciously or consciously, our thoughts have created our reality. Or, you can even go deeper than that, our illusion of reality. So tonight, I'm so thankful for those of you that have called in, those of you that are just listening. All shows are recorded. But as we continue, I want to just express my gratitude to the Queen Goddess, Cheryl Faison, beloved Wine. And we're just going to continue. I'm going to continue. Hopefully we'll get more callers. I was really anticipating this to be a big show tonight. However, again, it's not about fame or popularity. It's just about me expressing myself so we can just, really just get to know who we are in depth, people. We are powerful people. As we all are. As you can see, there's a few of us that are, existing at a certain level. But my whole thing is I have a motto, and I kind of got this from the great leaders that came before me, the ancestors that have actually guided me to be where I'm here today, where I'm at. Thing is, if we all can't eat, I can't eat. So let's just look at this. When you understand the purpose of collective consciousness, let's look about it. Let's just say, how can I express this? Okay, let's just look about it as something that has been kind of scientifically proven, and it's known as the 100th monkey effect. Okay, and this comes from the collective consciousness a few decades ago. Scientists that were studying a particular type of monkey, all right, on the Japanese island. Now, understand, people, that as black people, it's not that we're superior, but we're here to teach. And just to give you an idea, when we sag our pants and say certain words, the world emulates us, okay? When we use certain analogies and certain words, again, the world emulates us. When we show a lack of concern for who we are, again, the world emulates us. So let's just think about this. Let's just think about being who we truly are. I mean, the true scientists, the true metaphysicists, the true God. And when we think of God, it's because we've been bombarded with these images of God being some mysterious force in the clouds. Understand, people, collective consciousness is a mindset. And anything that we put in our mind reflects our reality. So I just wanted to put that out there. I mean, it's so important that we start to understand the concept of love. Love is not Valentine's Day. It's not an emotional thing. Love is, as I know it, to be nurturing, to care. So if I tell you I love you, that means I care about your well-being. You know, this is a word that is, I mean, severely abused, you know, and this is why we go into things like, oh, I love my car, or I love that show. You can't love anything that's not capable of enhancing or nourishing life. You know what I mean? And there's so many things we refrain from because we use that word in such a, I don't know, in such a way of, like, we put that word in a high place. And when we simply understand that word love, you know, we abuse it in a simple form. But in all seriousness, it's time for us to really start loving each other, looking out for each other, and wanting the betterment of each other. I mean, we're so competitive against each other. We're so focused on trying to outdo each other that we simply forget that we came here to enjoy, to teach, and show, you know, all people who we truly are. So before I go any further, because, you know, I'm quite long-winded, Cheryl, beloved, what is your take? I mean, so far, what how do you feel? I mean, what's your take on tonight's show?
What's tonight's show? Well, first of all, I think it was a glorious show. And though you're not big one on it, you know, since you're God and I'm God and we're God and God is conscious, you know, if there are two or more of us gathered, then, you know, we're in the midst. So our godliness is in the midst. So, you know, we don't worry about how many people are listening now. That's why we record the shows, and we don't worry about how many callers we'll have, because we know that the appropriate people that our message is designed for will hear it. You know, when we understand that, you know, we're all divinely guided to where, what, and to whom we should be connected at any particular moment. When we allow that, we allow ourselves to open up our spirit to the truth of the universal collective. I think I had a really good example earlier about collective consciousness. When you start talking about that monkey thing, you kind of threw me off, so I had to come back to it. But I just want to kind of explain something that may help people understand collective consciousness. Look at the animals, because you were talking about animals earlier, how they all get along. And I actually wrote a Facebook post a while back about, you know, they don't have churches, religions, they don't have anybody that venerates themselves as a god or some type of, you know, supreme leader or whatnot. Yeah, they have roles, and they honor that. You know, first honoring your role in the relationship that you have one to another. If, you know, we as human beings, one, honored our role in our relationship with Mother Nature, that's a very big, important, you know, factor. Honoring our role as stewards and caretakers of Mother Gaia or Mother Earth, that would help tremendously with our collective consciousness. You know, becoming a tree hugger. Trust me, there's some science to hugging those trees you guys don't know about. We'll talk about that on another show. When we think about collective consciousness, in relationship to the animals. Animals are very spiritual creatures. And sometimes I'm outside and I like to spend time in nature. And so I inquired with Spirit one day. I said, I know it's always the same little birds that come whenever I sing and I summon them, and I'll call for the little Nectaru bird tribe, the angels, because the angels, the birds represent the spirits of the angelic, or the etheric angels that some people believe in. So I said, why did it always come the same ones? And what the wisdom was that was given to me, it says their feathers are just like the fur on other creatures and like the antennae on the different insects. These are able to come in contact with a frequency and a vibration, because if you look at it, everything is energy. I don't know how much more science they need. The same light that the X-ray in your body is the same electromagnetic field, is the emanation that you give out into the spiritual world that is unseen, so to speak. And so the animals and creatures have this too. So I said, well, when I sing, they come back. And he said, yes, because their feathers pick up the vibration and frequency of my voice, because my voice and my behaviors are unique to me because of my DNA. So it goes out into the atmosphere. It travels upon the wind and the breeze of the trees and the leaves. And I summon those spirits that are in those birds back to me. Now, one thing about a creature when it's deceased, if there are 12 birds in a flock, if one of them deceases, then the spirit or the soul of that one bird goes back into the other 11. It spreads out among the 11. And so where I may have made contact with one individual robin redbreast, ages ago in my previous lifetimes, that one spirit, when it's deceased, will go into those other 11. So guess what? 11 come to me versus the one. Now just think about that in human characteristics. Our hair is a transmitter of consciousness to us, being back in nature. You look at the Native American tribes and you look at the Pacific Islanders and the Latino community. They rarely cut their hair. They may trim it for appropriate growth, but they don't cut their hair or they don't add too many chemicals to it, because your hair is a transmitter of consciousness and it helps you stay connected with spirit. So the creatures on the planet are divinely guided. And because they have a collective consciousness, that's why they're able to stay together in groups. If you see a couple of squirrels, the squirrels are going to be the same. They're going to stay connected one to the other. That's why your dog, when you whistle and your dog's down the street, visiting a neighbor, and you whistle for it, and you call the name of your dog comes back home, because your voice is become a part of the consciousness of your pet. So if we start thinking about how we become part of the consciousness of one another in the same aspect, then it changes the whole ball game. And so I think it's important to know, and like I said, all of this can be supported with science. I'm not going to get into all that because it's unnecessary at this point. But, you can go and Google the wisdoms for yourself. A lot of this stuff is just basic science. But that's how important we are to the collective consciousness. But before you can think about collective consciousness, you have to understand the individual consciousness, and you have to understand the individual will. We all will these experiences into our lives. But, there's something we want to skirt, and that's the universal spiritual laws. There's a universal spiritual law of responsibility. Guess what? We don't want responsibility for our negative thoughts and our negative actions, our not so so wonderful thoughts and behaviors. So we want to blame. And so then we come up with these concepts of, gods. It's much easier to blame it on a god or a religious figure that forced it to do something or to be something, that we're not. We're scapegoating. Stop scapegoating God. That's what we need to do, and we need to start taking responsibility, for our own thoughts. When you control your thoughts, they don't have room to control you. And the best way to do that is to love yourself infinitely. When you come into this love of self, You're going to be guided to act in noble characteristics and to behave as such. Then you're going to know there's nothing that can separate you from the love of God. Why? Because you are God and God is you. You are the creator. You create that which you speak, so then you don't have to worry about, some demon or some, devil come in working in your mind and telling you something. The ancestors are trying to come to the African American, but we're in so much fear. And it's not just us, it's other races, in the human race, of us within the human race and human species. The ancestors are trying to come to us and remind us that we're all one. We all are one who came to express collectively and individually. But because we've created these paradigms, because we want to skirt around responsibility, and we've got to stop it. Take responsibility for everything that you speak. Every word you say is a prayer. It's a meditation. If it's not manifesting here, I promise you it's manifesting 13 million light years away. You know how? But sound faster than the speed of light. So every word that you speak, understand, where it's going to go. It's going to create something. Every time we say we have, guess what? We're there in the universe. And then the next thing on the news, you see, some here, there, and another. We need to just get rid of hate. We need jealousy. These are thought forms and our negative ideations, because we've become puffed up with pride and, self-righteousness. We need to get over it. That's a problem, within our community, and we look and we want to, we get upset, somebody makes it, they're Illuminati or they're wicked or they're this or they're that. Maybe they're just following the essence of their soul. Maybe they've been who they are before, and they're doing that again. So stop looking and downing them and look and see what are they doing differently than you are. And I promise you, if you go listen to them from Russell Simmons to Jay-Z, they'll all tell you, what they have spoken into their lives, their words. That's what they've created, what they're going to be. I mean, President Barack Obama is very good example. 5 years old, he said in kindergarten, he wanted to be president of the United States. Well, how do you think he come about? He created that which he spoke. Why? Because it was a thought. It was a thought that he sincerely channeled to himself because he had a desire, a desire to express himself, to be greater than he ever thought he could be. Step out on a limb, to, my brothers and sisters, my bro stars and my sisters, to the African American community, to those of us that are more deeply melanated, to that are less melanated. Step out of this fear and know that the only spirit that's going to be is the spirit of yourself. Yeah, it may seem like a dark force or a dark entity. It may seem like a force. It may seem like there's a devil chasing you. Guess what? That's a thought form that you haven't tackled in life. That's something negative in life you haven't overcome. That's a judgment that you have against yourself you have not overcome. So overcome it. Black men, stop loathing yourselves. Stop feeling like you're some type of failure because of the transatlantic slave trade. Trust me, there was slavery way the hell before. There was a transatlantic slave trade way before this world, before the history that we all know is written history, before this 25,920-year passage of time, what some call the precision of the equinoxes. Get over it. It's done with. You're not responsible for that. It happened. It's a soul injury. It's a collective soul injury within the black mind. You need to release it, let it go. This is what some people call victim mentality. You're holding on to something. And what happens is you hold on to it so long it becomes a dagger. You keep killing yourself over and over with it. You're in their good mind and they talk about, well, black women don't care about themselves and they don't care about their weight, they don't care about bodies. We'll carry the pain, of looking at our sons and looking at our husbands inside our bodies. Any physical issue that you have is revelation of your spiritual issues. So all of this lifetimes we've channeled inside our bodies, all of this pain, way before the transatlantic slave trade. Way before that.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, sweetheart. Let's go to this caller, and we have a caller that has a question.
Right, go ahead.
And the question, I don't know the question, I'm sorry. But the last four is 2493. Go ahead, join me with the Superconscious Outlet.
Hi, I believe that's me. My name is Julie.
Hi, Julie.
Hi. Listen,
How are you?
I could listen to Cheryl speak all night. She rings so true. Her words ring so true. And I just want to say, having reincarnated at this time as a white-skinned person, that the seer permeates the white community also. The collective is the collective, and that's it. But I also want to say, I don't want to barge into your show and just make a statement, but I also want to say that I've had remembrance of also incarnating into the skin of a dark-skinned person, and having soul remembrance of that, and having to heal those wounds. So it's about, to me, and I'd like your thoughts on this, to me it's about being human, and it is definitely about doing the inside job. And when you do the inside job, you add, you heal. When you heal yourself, you heal the collective. And you heal the whole. When you heal the one, you heal the whole. And that's paradoxical, but we do live in paradox. So what I love about Cheryl's message is she doesn't separate. And also, she doesn't let anybody off the hook. The business about no more blaming. I love what she said, is no more blaming God. So anyway, I'm going to quit my yakety yak and see if
Julie,
you have anything to
say. Julie,
yes.
Listen. Let me tell you how much I appreciate your call in, because
sure.
I want people to understand that we come back here. Nothing ever leaves, okay? When you're cremated, you're buried, does a spaceship or some unknown force come and pick you up and take you to another place? No. We come here as energy. We remain here as energy. So what you're saying about the collective is exactly what I'm expressing. We are all one, you know what I mean? And the reason why I emphasize about the black community is because we're so lost. I mean, you know, the majority of us are so misconstrued, but collective consciousness affects all. It affects the whole planet. So it's not about race, and I want people to be perfectly clear about that. When I speak about the improvement of people that look like me and resemble me, it's not in a position of, you know, superiority, or not a position of hating others or tormenting others, paying others back. It's about being collective. It's about knowing that we influence the world. I mean, we influence the entire universe, okay?
Yes, we do.
So my thing is, if we come to this understanding who we are as peaceful beings, then we can rid the world of all this idiotic nonsense about, oh, I'm over you, or I'm better than you. And the thing about it is, you know what I mean, again, why I appreciate your call so much is that very reason that we need to understand that we are responsible. When you have a bad day, you created that day, unconsciously or consciously. You are responsible for that. When something is not going as you desire it to go, you are responsible for that. There's no outside force, there's no outside entity that comes and punishes you. And this is the thing about, like I said, we have been indoctrinated with so much religion, just idiotic ideologies that it just, I'm dumbfounded sometimes myself by where we allow ourselves to be as a person. Julie, I don't know if I know you personally or not, but just the fact that you called in lets me know that what we're doing collectively is effective, because I appreciate your insight. I appreciate your call. You know what I mean? And please don't just rush off the line. There's no need. You are welcome to speak your piece, because you are needed here as much as anyone else.
You know what? Thank you so much. And we are all needed. We're all needed, and we're all such beautiful, beautiful, powerful beings. And we carry so much beautiful power within us, and we can have such a beautiful effect on this planet and the universe. If we could just know the truth of ourselves.
Exactly.
So thank you. You're doing a great show.
I mean, again, I'm humble. I am so appreciative of you having the courage to call in and just voice your opinion. And again, Julie, just know that if no one else does, I appreciate you. But I think all the callers that are listening tonight, that we can appreciate you for having the courage to call in. And this is the format of this show. This is just like, realism in its purest form. So, again, we thank you and we appreciate you. Thank you for calling in.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Julie, for taking time to call in. Because, actually, she shared with me earlier today about her experience, about her incarnation. And tell them more, if you don't mind, I know it's kind of personal, but can you tell them just a little bit about what lifetime it was so that people can get a better understanding? I was saying, we've had slavery before the transatlantic, slave trade. So trying to give a little insight on that, if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure. What I had remembrance of was, I know that it was in Pompeii, and I was and I saw myself as a very robust, black-skinned woman and dancing and wearing the colors of orange and green, and it was very, very lush. And then I received words that I was undersold, and I was also forsaken. I was left without protection. And it was a very, very deep, it felt like a soul wounding, and I went into grief and crying. And I actually have spent, it's coming up again, I've spent much of the day crying over this deep, deep wounding in me. And this is not victim consciousness. I do not wallow in victim consciousness. That does nobody any good. This is truly a soul wounding that's coming up to be healed. So, Cheryl, do you want more? Or...
Now, I wanted to kind of jump into on it right there where you're saying it's a soul injury that come up to heal. It can't get much more divine than this. It's like 8:30. It's 3/22, 2014. This year is a 7. It's a perfect number. The numerology, if anybody's out there into that, you can imagine what it's like. Now, this is what we're talking about. The soul injury that we carry is African American women. And, black women, we have the same soul injury, that Julie's experienced. What she saw today about what's part of, she said she felt forsaken and unprotected. And that's where we are now. We're many of us that have come back, more melanated this lifetime. We're experiencing that, and it needs to be healed. And see, Julie's being healed in the collective, because I've been working on the soul healing, not just for myself individually as a melanated woman, or, yes, I'm a black woman, and sometimes I know a lot of people say, are you British or whatnot, but, that's all a different story. But, I've had to work on this injury, the soul injury, and I've been led to heal it within myself first. To get into this divine love that, I know that, Roderick experiences, Julie experiences, I experience individually. But as I do it, Julie can probably attest to this, the more work that we do individually, the more results we see collectively in the world. You think it's impossible to track it, but I'll have, 4 or 5 people call me in a day just within hours of me just trying to get past these type of things that are in my soul, where I have to you have to cry, you have to let it out. Sometimes you got to curse. Sometimes you got to scream. Sometimes you got to fight just to get rid of it. You have to overcome it, because we can't take it with us to the next dimensions or the mansions, and for those that are stuck in religion, you hear us talk about dimensions, 5th dimension and beyond. There's so much more beyond 5th dimension. This is the same for those who, if you're looking for something scriptural, in my Father's house are many mansions. If there were not, so I would not have told you. I will go there and prepare a place for you. So that's what that refers to if you want to look at it alchemically. So, Julie's doing the work. She's, she come back this lifetime, it's a Caucasian female, but she still was being led to do the work to heal her soul in her lifetime. Is, a black woman, as an African woman that was in Pompeii. I mean, she could be, maybe people in Pompeii were black. I don't know. But whenever she shared it with me, what I saw was that she was like a dignitary. I actually saw her as a foreign dignitary that had traveled from possibly what we would consider Ethiopia today, and she was being invited into Pompeii. And then when she got there, she was deceived. Her partner wasn't with her, and then she was taken away to some type of slavery. Like she said, she felt forsaken and unprotected. Is that something that if you want to look at it in a paradigm of race, that is within not in the African American race, I think it's more talked about just really because we're a smaller collection of group. If you look, we make up less than 13% of the entire U.S. population, but we're the most talked about because we're the ones right now who need the most healing. But thanks to people like Julie who are responding to that internal call to heal that essence within her soul, she's also doing the work for all of us collectively. So she is helping us. If you want to look at it as African Americans, she's helping us as women in general. And so I appreciate her calling in and sharing that experience. So it was very brave and courageous to do it, because I don't know if I would have felt comfortable calling into a show where you don't clearly, you may not be sure how you're going to be received. So my hat's off to you, Julie, and I appreciate you so much.
Thank you. And can I say one more thing? I want to say, because this is something I also know, that the emotional body of the planet, the emotional body of all of us, of the collective of all of us, we have many bodies, but the emotional body of all of us in the Piscean age was trampled on and squashed. So it's the emotional body that now, in this new age, is what needs the most healing.
Exactly.
So, I want to say just one more thing, and then I'll hand it over to you.
Go ahead.
It comes out in our tears.
Wow. You know what, Julie, again, thank you so much. I really commend your courage. Feel free to call in. We will be continuously doing shows on the thing, topics such as awakening, true consciousness. And again, Julie, we appreciate you. Thank you for calling in.
Thank you. Good job.
So much. All right. Hey, people, listen. Let's go ahead and bring in our next caller. We have a friend of mine that's very, very, very dear to me. He is partially responsible for me even being able to do this show. I really want to say he's almost solely responsible, with the exception that I had some input. But anyway, let's go ahead and bring this caller in right now. This is my brother. I like to call him my little brother, but not in the sense that he's lower or smaller than me, just because we have that relationship. And this is a man who is so much a part of my life. You guys will actually see photos of us tomorrow, spending time with our daughters, being real fathers, implementing the rules that we live by, and that is to live by example of what we speak. So let's go ahead and bring in my brother right now, J. Allen Greer. Are you on the line with us?
Yeah, man, thank you. You always give me that lovely introduction, man. I appreciate it. How you guys doing today?
We are brother week.
Hey.
Yeah, there you go, man. We're wonderful, man. Thank you for calling in, Jay. I really appreciate you.
Okay, no, it's all good, man. I just wanted to touch on a quick two things real quick, man. First of all, I want to thank the last caller for calling in. Just like Cheryl said, for her to call in and not know how she would be received, that was really a great thing, So I commend her for that. And like you said, everybody's welcome to tune in and get a piece of this. You guys were touching on being here before. And I just want to kind of share with the people, what we mean when we say that. That's just like when you take a light bulb, okay? You have a light bulb and it is shining, okay? And then you have the bulb itself, but then you have the light, which is the energy, okay? And we are basically made the same way. This body of ours is sort of like that bulb. And then we have that fire inside us that is that energy. Now, when that light bulb goes off, when it dies, we unscrew the light bulb. And then if we go get another light bulb and we screw it in there, that light is going to appear again. Do you see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Right. That light bulb is going to appear again. Another thing I wanted to touch on is, as well as and tell the people out there that there's a great documentary you can watch on YouTube. It's called Spirit Science. It's about 4 hours long. So I would say, and they have it in pieces as well. I suggest everybody just take their time with it if you're going to watch it. But on Spirit Science, I found it very interesting that you guys touched on animals, and this is what they did on there. Basically, Cheryl, how you were saying, like birds, all these animals, they don't speak, but at the same time, they have a collective consciousness to where they communicate with each other. As you said, how we see a flock of birds in the sky. One bird may go one way, all of the rest will follow. When we look at the ocean, we see a school of fish. And the school of fish, they all travel the same way. They do all of this without speaking. So, yeah, I just wanted to touch on that, man, and tell the people out there, Spirit Science is what it is. It's on YouTube. It's a documentary you can catch. And it basically just speaks about just being awake and just how to get more in tune with yourself. And the way that the documentary is set up sort of like a cartoon, so you can even have a child watch it. You know, I have my kids, watch it and they listen to it and things like that. So it's something that you can do together with the family, and it's very interesting. Okay? So that's all I wanted to say.
Yeah. Hey, Jay, before you hang up, my brother, you know what, I wanted to touch on that topic because, I was really originally the one that brought that topic up. And the reason why is because when we become in tune with nature, we realize that all these things are examples for us, you know what I mean, as us being higher functioning, because we can communicate. We can express our words. I can keep talking to you until my thoughts are truly expressed to you. So, when we get lost, in our thoughts and emotions on the past and the future, we just really forget the amazing nature of the present moment, which is simply a perpetual clean state to be perceived in whatever our minds choose. I mean, we have the freedom of choice. See, a lion can be nothing but a lion, okay? Mm-hmm. So when our minds latch onto a specific feeling or emotion, sometimes we can't break ourselves. You know what I mean?
Right.
To be free of it. Instead, we spin our wheels over and over again, embodying the ideal of deeper, of a deeper idea, within our consciousness. However, man, I mean, you, Cheryl, Demariah, and all the brothers we work with at Universal Radio, when we come into this collective consciousness, there's a lot that we can really do. And the thing about it is that, just like you, Jay, I mean, you have expressed yourself to me in a way that has been so open and so sincere and so truthful and honest. And this is what we need to get to. You know what I mean? It's just about being who we are. I'm not looking for everyone to agree with me because I have some big dreams. You know what I mean? I have some really, astounding visualizations that everybody won't just come into agreement with. But however, I mean, it's not that I want to force my ideology on anybody. I want just everybody just to start thinking in depth about who they are, because we each individually have a purpose that connects us to this oneness. Hey, brother, I mean, you know me, man. I can't even thank you enough for calling in.
No doubt. Let me just say one more thing, man.
Yes,
like I was touching on about the animals and things like that. Think about it. Like us as humans, we have so many different ways to communicate. We speak to each other. We have text messaging. You pick up the phone, you call somebody, but yet we stay in utter chaos. Right. Things like these animals that can't even speak to each other, they use this consciousness to communicate. So we have to know that there's something deeper out there.
Yeah, I mean, let's just think about the ants. I mean, this is why I brought them up. Think about the ants. They're all in a line. You know what I mean? And,
right.
You know, if you ever studied ants, and I did this as a child, I looked and I said, well, man, this ant is carrying this ant. And I would even go as close. I mean, to get a magnifying glass, actually, you know what I mean? Just the scientist within me, I'm like, is this ant, is he dead? Is he injured? And sometimes I would notice that some of them were dead, or some of them just weren't able to carry on. And the other ant would just pick him up and carry him. I didn't have enough, I guess, tools or insight to see where they took this other ant.
Right.
I mean, he would actually carry him. And I would look and see the strength. I mean, I would see, I'm like, man, this is a big piece of crumb or whatever they were carrying, a stick, a twig, or whether it be a piece of food or whatever. This ant was carrying something almost 300 times its weight. You know what I mean? So when we start to teach our children, the whole thing about collective consciousness that I must point out is for the other generation to surpass us. And for us right now to get the best of why we came here. We came here to experience things as such as taste, smell, and all the other pleasures that we enjoy. But we didn't come here to take that for granted. You know what I mean? We came here so the next generation that comes after us can supersede us in every aspect of the word. Jay, man, you know, I appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much. Sure, if you have any insight you want to add to that, I mean, go ahead. You know, now's your time to go ahead and add whatever you want to that. But I appreciate you, Jay Allen Greer. I really do.
Thank you, man. Bless up, you guys. You guys doing a great job.
Thank you.
Oh, well, Jay, first of all, I want to say thank you for calling in and showing some love tonight and giving everybody a shout-out here. And I love what you had to say, you know, especially when you're talking about the School of Fish and how they're all going, you know, in one direction. And that is something that's so important for us to try to understand, you know, why do the animals, you know, why are creatures, you know, the fish and fowl and whatnot, why are they so able to do these things, even insects, you know?
Right.
We look at them and we see them as a species that's lesser than we are. But just like you said, they're not running around in chaos all day. We've got, you know, mobile phones. We've got internet. We've got nosy neighbors down the street and go tell somebody we need something, but we don't utilize it. And so how is it that they have these experiences and we don't? And like you said, it's a consciousness that they have collectively. You know, but they're still able to express themselves individually. There's nothing wrong with that. And I think that people are kind of trapped into this, you know, you're so individual and so unique that you're so bizarre and out of the world, nobody can, you know, tolerate you or get around you, you know, stand to be around you. Like when you get people who are like supposedly super enlightened and, you know, kind of like you know, self-made gurus and so forth. You know, they're on such a different level. Nobody can really come around them unless they come to an ashram or someplace like that where they have to go worship them and whatnot. And so, you know, they have a lot of wisdom. And, you know, they have a great bit of it. But, you know, they make it seem so, you know, so far away from everyone else that, you know, they miss their mission. You know, this is what happens to a lot of the Siddhas and the Buddhas and whatnot that have reincarnated on the planet. They miss their mission on it. And then you've got some who are so scared to go against the status quo who feel like, you know, they need the validation of other individuals to, you know, as a group. And so this is kind of like where we get into this religious collective. And that is, you know, it kind of tears us down. You know, but there has to be a medium, you know, the middle pathway, you know, understanding that. And so I think we need to take a serious look at the consciousness of the creatures and see how do they do that. You know, another creature is really fascinating is the crickets. You know, here I have a hypersensitive hearing, so notice that the crickets are just, you know, they're just chiming in and they're all just like in one key and one note. Like they have this particular song. And what I was thinking about is there's someone a long time ago I saw a gentleman had slowed down the speed of a recording of the crickets, and it actually sounded like a human voice speaking on it. Now I can't remember who posted it or what have you, but it's a YouTube link a long time ago. But you know, and they've done that with the dolphins too. When you move away all of the excess noise, it sounds like human speech. But human speech is nothing more than just a frequency. It's a wavelength. We are all channels. Each one of us. And when we speak, that's what it's important to understand. We're creating what we speak because we are frequency and vibration. And I think the light bulb was an excellent example. Something else that Roderick and I talked about is, I told him one day, I said the power's there, but everybody's not plugged into it. We're all like a bunch of empty wall sockets,
That's right.
And everyone hasn't, plugged into it, just yet. And so, just because we haven't plugged into it, it doesn't mean, it's not available. I think the greatest way to understand the concept of God, or the greatest way to understand the concept of a universal creator, or an infinite one, is to, if you think of God as the law of universal spiritual law of pure potentiality, because all we are pure potentialities of the Godhead, or the God force. This is why we're taught, when we're still in baby consciousness, we're still taught, as the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, because we need to know that we're different emanations. Out of the Son comes the Father, but neither of them can come forth unless they come through the Mother. The Divine Mother, so that's where I think that if we understood more about that pure potentiality, that's what we all are, and, we're electric currents, that have a potential to impact the world. And just think if all of us just got plugged up right quick, like, what would happen? If we plugged up into love, what if we just plugged into, and we all channeled and plugged into divine love? Wonder where we'd go.
Right. That's powerful. You know what I mean? Again, Jay Allen, listen, man, we thank you for calling. We really appreciate you, as you know that. And, man, let's just get it done, brother. Let's just continue.
Oh, yeah, man. I appreciate you guys as well, man. Definitely.
Yes. Thank you so much, Jay. We will appreciate you. All right, bless up. Peace. You know what, Cheryl, I just wanted to touch on something that, a lot of us don't understand, that, the thing about it is that it's been given to us in so many forms. I mean, a lot of people, because they have opinions about certain things or whatever, but one caller, and I believe it was Jamila X, where she mentioned, the Matrix. And if you break that down and don't just take it as a movie, but start to do some research and understand what a matrix is, okay, first and foremost, and then understand that. I mean, we're caught up in a state of unknowing where we simply think we know, but we don't know. And then when we start to realize that each of us as an individual is a particle, okay, divine intelligence. Now, many of us, again, we call these different things. I mean, there's so many different names for the Creator, for God, or whatever. But let's look at this in a metaphysical way, what we truly are, and that is energy. We're energy, and we never cease being energy in whatever form we are in. And if you study any type of science, and again, this is for each individual, but so many of us are just caught up in living a day-to-day life. As it was an old commercial. Many of you may remember. Some of you won't. But it was a Del Taco commercial, and it was based on the premise of this exact analogy. Same thing, same place. Same thing, same place. You know what I mean? So what they were referring to was, if you come to Del Taco, you would get something different, okay? So this is the thing, people. We cannot continue to look in religious books. We cannot continue to look in religious ideology to think that if we keep going by these simple perceptions that we're going to get a different outcome. every generation that comes into this existence is about evolution as human beings. And for those of you that think we are so technologically advanced, we're not. We haven't even caught up to where we used to be. Okay?
Exactly.
Understand that. I mean, the helicopter, spaceships, private spaceships, where we used to be able to roam the earth, it's been done before. Okay? So there's nothing new under the sun, and let's understand that. You know what I mean? Let's understand that. I mean, as we're winding down, I have another caller that we need to just go ahead and get right to. But before we do that, Cheryl, beloved Faison, Cheryl Faison, beloved Juan, let me express my deep gratitude to you that how much I appreciate you for helping me tonight. And let's go ahead and take this caller, though. Let's take this caller. I think we have a Brother Lamar on. Go ahead, brother.
Hotep, brother, what's up?
Man, you, all the time, you. Let's just chop it up for a few minutes, Lamar, like we do. Go ahead, what you got for me?
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry I called in so late. I was a bit tied up, but I was just calling because I'm wondering, what's the difference between collective consciousness and your subconscious?
You said collective consciousness and your subconscious or your self-conscious?
Subconscious, yeah. What's the difference between the two?
Okay. Your subconscious is taking place, as I understand it, whether you're aware of it or not. Collective consciousness is something that you give thought to, which is a form of consciousness. So that's my perception. I mean, you know, when we speak about collective consciousness, it's just like how you and I build, you know what I mean, individually on private phone conversations. This is the thing where it's about the betterment of everyone. You know what I mean? So subconsciously, your mind is working. I mean, it never stops. You know what I mean? Whether you're aware of it or not, it doesn't sleep. I mean, the body rests, goes into a state of death, as you have expressed on your show on several occasions. So when we think about collective consciousness, it's about thought. It's actually about premeditated thought to bring us, you know what I mean, as a people. When I say as a people, I mean just that, brother, as a people, all people, to a higher existence of what we have the ability to do. So that's my opinion. If you want to hear from the goddess Cheryl Faison, beloved Juan, I'll let her speak on it too. But that's my perception, Brother Lamar.
Yes, please. I would love to hear her perspective.
Okay, Cheryl.
Sure. And let me make sure. Hi there tonight, God King. How are you?
Good. Yourself, Sister Queen?
Oh, great. Thank you. Now, let me make sure I heard you correctly. Did you ask about your subconscious or your subconscious compared to the collective?
Well, I wanted to know what's the difference between the collective conscious and the subconscious. And
the
I'm only
collective
asking
conscious
because
and
I hear some things being expressed, and it seems like the subconscious and the collective subconscious is being mixed up with the collective conscious. Because to me, conscious is only to remember.
Okay, well, this is my input on it, and I think I'm in a couple of minutes. Now, the subconscious, what we believe to be our subconscious is our actual consciousness. You know, this is when we go in our state of sleep or these states of where we have out-of-body experiences or near-death experiences and whatnot. And people think they're seeing, this big white light, and they think they're seeing God. No, you're seeing your true self. You're seeing your S within you. Okay, now collective consciousness is the amount of energy as collective that is spread. Our particular ideations, here walking around on the planet that are transmitted back up into the whole, to the whole of the sun. We're all part of the sum of the all and all of the sum. Now, scientifically, and this is some wisdom that a lot of them are looking for, but I have it. There are 444 binary codes that are embedded in each nuclei of the stems of the cells that created your body and your presence, okay? This is what gives you your DNA essence on that. So if you think about it, it's 444 codes, that's 888, and just think that's from nuclei. That's not even the cells themselves. No way it splits. The first organ that forms in the physical body is the thoracic organ or your heart. Now, when the heart forms, then the next thing that comes is going to be the brain stem. This is why you can live with your heart, your brain not working, but your heart must work. Otherwise, you're deceased, okay? However, with the brain stem, there's some medulla oblongata that is connected to what we call the thymic gland. It goes from thymic gland up to the pituitary gland, and it feeds into what we call our pineal gland, which is, where people talk about their third eye or first eye, whatever. Divine wisdom shows me it's called the eternal eye because you see eternally. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and say this now because I'm being channeled to say it right now. There's about a time coming, and it's coming quickly. You don't understand quickly what people don't want to believe or don't care to believe truth is. What's called the Akashic record, the psychic record, the soul record, the solar record, or your ancestral wisdom is going to be opened up to everybody on this planet. People are going to start having what we call past life regressions, but they're not going to understand it. That's why you have people like yourself, Roderick, that are here. Go ahead.
Wait, stop. God damn it. She got my pineal gland hard and melanating on myself. Sister, I love you.
Hey, listen. Hey, Lamar, we're going to be in contact, man. But listen, check this out. I got 60 seconds left. Actually less than that. Brother, we love you. You know this. You understand me? I'm going to put you in contact with the Sister Cheryl. I mean, we're all on the same wavelength here. Listen, people, I got to give a shout-out to the Jay Allen Show. I got to give a shout-out to my sister show, which is on tomorrow. You know what I mean? Call in and speak to my sister. Same number as Amira Abrams. And listen, people, again, my show is overran its time. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for calling. We got less than 10 seconds left. Hey, people, peace. For all of y'all I didn't get to give shots out to, all I can say is I love you. I'm rushed right now. We love you. Hey, Lamar, keep doing your thing. Everybody, we love y'all. I'm going to make it up to y'all next week and give everybody shots out. Peace. We love you, and we out. I'm sorry. Love y'all.
Thanks.